What position suits you the best? I get asked this a lot in the comments. You're saying, okay, I'm not fast. Should I be a winger or should I be center mid? Started playing as a winger, then I played attacking midfielder most of my life. I converted into striker, then I went back to winger. Let's start all the way from the back line. You have a decent height. You're between 5'10 and 6'2. You're really good at headers, winning the tackles and not scared of getting into those challenges. Also have great communication skills. You have good leadership. Obviously, you are probably well suited to be a center back. As I said in my other center back videos, when it comes to becoming a successful center back, your leadership abilities I think comes first. You have to be a great leader. Even though if you are not a captain in your team, you have to be able to communicate very clearly with your goalkeepers, with your central midfielders or with your other center back partner. Now we get to our fullbacks. This is where it gets a little bit complicated because fullback position, you would have to make runs up and down the field. I tried playing fullback a few times and I think fullback position requires a lot of cardio. So you'll have to have a great cardio to be able to play the fullback position. Then you'll have to have decent speed because you'll be running up and down the field supporting your winger because your winger sometimes will be cutting in, which opens up a space for you to overlap. So you need to be able to see it from the back line when you're playing fullback that when is a good time to actually make those runs in behind your winger. Fullback has to have incredible positional knowledge. Yes, every position you have to have very good positional knowledge, but fullback, you'll need to know exactly when to overlap, you'll need to know exactly when to hold. If the attack is coming to you from your side, you'll have to know exactly when to step in, or if the attack is coming from the other side, you'll have to know exactly when to tuck in. These are the basic knowledge that you have to be a great fullback. Technically, you don't have to be excellent, but you have to have the basics right, such as your first touch, your dribbling abilities, your basic running with the ball, your passing, and sometimes crossing inside the 18 and providing for your strikers. So basically, if you are fast, if you have good tackling abilities, and if you know your position incredibly well, when to step, when to hold back. You also have the basic crossing and passing abilities, but you're not as technical as the winger should be, then you might be a better candidate to play the fullback position. Then we go to the winger position. If you want to be a successful winger, you need to know exactly when to take risks, when to play simple, when to make wide runs, when to make inverted runs. You have to have the speed, obviously. You have to have great passing skills. You have to have really good dribbling abilities, being able to understand your fullback at the same time as making those proper inverted runs, allowing your wingers to go wide or leave space for your center midfielders to come out wide. So you'll need to understand these when you're playing a winger position. And this is one of the first things the coaches want from their wingers. Also, when it comes to defending as a winger, you'll have to know when to drop back. If your fullback is tucking in, if the attack is progressing from the opposite side, you'll need to come back to cover that space that your fullback left open. If you want to play as a winger for a team, these are the stuff that you need to know. If you don't know these stuff, yes, you might learn, but to start with, you might want to play maybe fullback position or other position that might suit you the better. Now we get to the central area. If you want to play central midfielder position, your playing under pressure ability has to be incredible. Your first touch has to be incredible. You have to be shoulder checking at all times. You have to have great vision and very quick decision-making abilities. You don't have to have incredible speed. You don't have to have incredible defending abilities, but what makes a great central midfielder, especially when it's defending, to know where to be, exactly when to be. Because this all means a game IQ. You don't have to be the greatest defender, but you have to know where to be, which is a game IQ. One of the most important job to a central midfielder positions, your creativity. You'll have to create the game. If you notice, the center backs or fullbacks or wingers, they're not as good when it comes to creating a game as the central midfielder. If you're a slow player, you're technically excellent, your vision is great, you have great game IQ, then it might be better for you to play central midfielder position. You are defensively better, but your ball skills really good and passing ability is really good, you can be a central defensive midfielder. And this is one of the most important things that separates a central midfielder and a defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielder position requires patience as well, because you'll have to hold back. You'll have to occupy that space. We get to the attacking midfielder. Your defensive skills doesn't have to be excellent. But again, just like other two positions like the central midfielder or defensive midfielder, you'll have to know where to be at the right time, because you're gonna need to cover the spaces, cover the gaps. That's your job as an attacking midfielder. And when it comes to attacking and creativity, you'll have to have excellent creativity. Your vision has to be excellent. Your game IQ has to be excellent. You being able to find those gaps to receive the ball has to be on point. You're more free as an attacking midfielder. So you're gonna have to travel. You're gonna have to go and find those gaps where your team can find you without putting you under so much pressure. Otherwise, you're not gonna be a successful attacking midfielder, because if you receive the ball under pressure, you're gonna have to play it simple. A good attacking midfielder likes to get out of tight spaces, the spaces that you're under a lot of pressure. So you get yourself to a space, you receive the ball comfortably, and you create the game. As a striker, you don't need to be very good technically. You need to be physical, you don't need to be fast. Depends on what kind of a striker you wanna be, or what kind of a striker your height or weight allows you to be. Because you can be a target striker, or you can just be a central forward where you're making runs in behind. If you're a tall player, you can hold the ball, you can protect the ball, keep the ball, lay it off to your attacking midfielder. You're technically okay. Now you can actually receive the ball, lay it off to your attacking midfielder, and let them create the game, and you make your run inside. I think the most important thing to become a target striker, where you actually have to know when to make those runs, which I made a lot of videos about striker movement. If you want to be one of the fast strikers like Lautaro Martinez or Sergio Aguero type of strikers, you're just gonna have to be moving around. You're basically almost like a false nine, but you are more making your runs in behind the defenders, and you're using your speed at the same time your finishing ability. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel with the notifications on. You can also find my playlist right over here. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.